So basically, we on tonight, and it's great to be it's great to be on here. And in as much as we are on, is a wonderful thing. We actually want to apologize for the kind of uh, feedback that we had and the challenges in terms of coming on, and it was some technical problem. But again, it's good that we are able to solve it, and nevertheless, so we'll take some video while we try to get on our panelist to be able to join us. Let's take this first video and see if we can get our panelists. We'll
That was presented to us, and the follow-up interactive session. We thought we have had it all. We have had the best. Not until we came to this place and also listening to a very well researched package and professionally delivered brief. Very, very impressive, encompassing, and it covers every, has given the students virtually everything they require to come up with a very wonderful paper. The presentation covered virtually everything that concerns the objective of our, the team of our paper.
Kill you. There's such a leader to get coro. We are not video requirement talking. You're carrying when you're crying. We put your machine. There's such a being legal. But coro, they told together record and start talking. No, do catch you. Don't believe it.
All right. So, welcome, members of the media industry. We are here in the courtyards at the Temple of Justice. I remember yesterday there was a trending video and involving my client, Pastor Clifford Perry, and the St. Paul Bridge area, where it was alleged that he had gone there to bribe DA officers. And that was the scuffle that was between them until we had to know the actual story. And he was arrested, taken to the LDA office where he made statements and was released on yesterday. So today we have decided to have this conference because we are here. Though the investigations are yet ongoing, but the LDA only charged him for obstruction of justice. That's what it is, but we are still going through the investigation to prove as to whether he truly obstructed instead of the bribe as being stated out there. So Pastor Clifford is right here. So you can just call your name and then the question to the media. Is the pastor? Yeah.
Yes, please. Good morning to everybody. I am Pastor Clifford Payne. It's a pleasure to speak to you this morning.
Yeah. So, okay. So, welcome to Spoon TV and other media institutions. You live here at the grounds of the Temple of Justice. Yesterday, there was video circulating on the internet that linked you to some alleged bribery that you are going to the LDA to have some family members released, who were involved in some unjust activity. Can you give us an insight and details of what occurred at the LDA and the office?
Thank you.
The executive mansion, I will turn into a 5-star hotel. I don't need to be in such an elaborate infrastructure. It's been proven that you can run the executive mansion right out of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. You can run the executive mansion out of a small place. Why do we need a whole Ministry of State just for presidential affairs? And it's a place where different people, all our, look, even me now as CEO with more than 5,000 employees across Africa in multiple countries, I don't really have a special assistant. My laptop is it. I have different departments, different heads of different sections, and it works. Why do we need a president to have such elaborate infrastructure? The sooner we review this, the better the budget will begin to work for us and for the people.
And it's a great pleasure to be on here. We actually like to apologize. We had some difficult time coming up, and we've consumed a lot of the time, which of course we want to make up for. So let me say good evening to all of you. Initially, we had some technical problem that we were trying to solve. So good evening, Mr. Abu, and welcome to the program.
Good evening, Willem, and how are you today? Well, I'm so sorry that we had a heat and we have gone almost some minutes into the allotted time for this program. But we just want to say we express our sincere apologies to our viewers out there, and we try to make sure that it becomes better the next time. And my name is Samuel Abu. I'm going to be here tonight, and we'll be talking on some of our training issues in our country. Thank you for coming on.
It's great. And we hope for to be joined by Sai. I just spoke with him and he's heading home to be able to join us on the program so we all can have a great discussion tonight. Basically tonight we have two basic talking points, and I would also like for us to look at one other situation that happened today aside from our current discussion point. We basically gonna look at the recent situation that involving office of the vice president of Liberia, an individual, Clifford Payne, claiming to be a staff of the office of the vice president, and we saw a statement coming in from the vice president involving Clifford Payne, linked to some drug-related situation. We will also talk about the the current speaker recent statement against journalists in terms of the hearing of the 1.2 billion-dollar budget. And before we jump into these discussions, I also want us to look at uh on today there was a huge riot in Red Light, and we've got us some information that a tension between the police officers and as well as the Painesville City Corporation officers. We want to look into that. This is not the first time that we've seen two security, two you know forces from the security sector going against each other. We would just take a look at that because we were being able to make some inquiries when we got that information. I was opportune to get around there and ask a few questions, and it was a tense situation as well. So those are the points we will look at tonight, and be able to talk more about them.
Thank you so much. And I don't know which one we're going to be starting with. When I don't know when Bayo will be coming in, so we can all be talking on these issues. And gladly for me, two of you guys are back in Monrovia, and I'm here in the States. I also do monitor from other outlets, media outlets, and I'm always available. And for today, maybe let's start from the Speaker of the House, Speaker Kuhn. He made some startling things today that people will consider as threat to journalists, and which we, according to our democracy, these are things that can weaken our democracy. He has not even gone 1 year yet as Speaker. He started making a big statements. So let me listen to what he said exactly today. Do you still have the recording?
Yes, definitely. Let me bring this clip from the House Speaker, Richie Nango.
Come here with you. Let's start a leader of get Koro. We are not video requirement talking. You're carrying when you cry off. We put your machine. Let's start some of the legal. But leader of get Koro. We are not video requirement talking. You're carrying when you cry off. Carrying when you cry off. We put your machine. Let's start some of the legal. But Koro. They told together record and start talking. Carrying when you cry off. We put your machine. Let's start some of the legal. Bakoro, they told together because I start talking no catch you. Don't believe it.
And there is Speaker Richard Coon threatening people that the session only begins when there is a quorum. And if people do not do it, if it doesn't take action, they must change his name. Change his name to what? Because I do not understand, Speaker Coon. Those statements were quite threatening. You cannot eat your cake and have it. You can't eat your cake and have it. We have all of these people. I know the rules. The various rules of the House actually determines what can be recordable and what can be what can be recordable and what can be what can be used for public and for public consumption and what cannot be used for public consumption. And for today, when he made a statement, there are many times that they have allowed journalists to walk along some of the legislators while they are going to session. And most of the time, some of the legislators, you cannot tell me that they don't even know the topics that they're going to discuss in this, during the session. They know what's going to be discussed in the session. And as they go, some of them start to hang heads, some of them start to talk to their colleagues, and the journalists do listen to them. And some of them have a very, very good rapport with some of the journalists to the point that they overbuy, they think what they're supposed to do, what they're not supposed to do. So by coming out with this statement today, some people will see it as a threatening statement, especially say he will imprison people. You know, I don't know any other actions that he can take, only imprisoning the journalists. That's all he can do, or that's the only power he got. Let's imagine, Speaker Coon, these are the same journalists who helped you to even become speaker today, because some of them spoke vehemently in your favor and they continue to carry stories on you when you really were not the person who had news, you know. So to the point that you people have gotten, is it because where is it we have committee rooms? Do the people discuss these things in committee rooms? Do they go to because when we look at it, we say the free and active press, actually we say it's a threat to democracy. But one thing we have to understand, Speaker Coon, if you want to make these kind of laws, or if you want to make these kind of threats, these are laws that you have on the book that journalists are not supposed to be recording or doing this and that. But you have allowed it to slip off your hand until it has become a daily thing that the journalists are doing in the House. So coming to step up 1 minute at this time, especially in the tune that you presented, I thought you would have decided maybe right after that you call a press conference and tell the journalists that. But when you heard or you saw them in the hallway talking with legislators and maybe they are recording, and you just came and started screaming. Why, Speaker Coon, why will you be screaming at a journalist? You know, you are the first house and you are the first estate and they are the fourth estate. Why? Don't you want to respect them? Because without these journalists, you are not going to be able to do most of your work. We agree that you have a whole lot of things, but if what you are doing is not carried out there to the people that you represent, well, it means that you're doing part of nonsense inside there. Speaker Coon, you have to understand it. Look, like here we understand that in the House they have the rules committee. The rules committee, have they drafted these rules? When journalists are accredited to the legislature, do we give them
the rules and all that?
The legislature? Do they give them the rules? Do they give you guys the rules and tell you when you come here, this is how you behave and this is not why you behave? And do we have an accreditation process? Do we have an accreditation process there,
So
Bill?
I think the rules and orders, the rules and orders focus on how legislators should behave and carry themselves in sessions and on the grounds of the Capitol building. And Robert Hands, who is the communication director, are there to guide every reporter as to how to carry on their duties. Almost like you are in the newsroom and you have your electoral policy and guidelines as to what to report, how to report in that particular newsroom. So uh, basically they're not and I'm not cutting you off, Mr. Abu, but I think the speaker sounded very angry. In as much as you are angry about something, he his voice sounded like it was a total threat to journalists. One thing that caught my attention was the fact that he said we are not serious yet until we can have a quorum. Why will you be discussing a country budget that is mostly criticized by people in the opposition, and you are there saying to journalists, forgetting to know that you will also be on record that whatsoever you're saying is not serious. So you went there to make fun and play with the national budget. Is this something that we supposed to laugh about? It's something critical. It's something serious. This budget is something that everybody is looking at in a very different perspective. And you have so many different opinions about the budget. And you coming out as a speaker to tell journalists that you guys are not serious about the budget until you guys can have a quorum, then why would you discuss something that you're not serious about? As a speaker, they shouldn't be coming from you. Neither none of your colleagues as legislators.
But when he decides to say that nothing should be discussed except there's a quorum, how do we determine a quorum? You already started doing business because you are setting a cat ahead of the horse. Because in the beginning, once you enter, when you call the legislature to order, once you call to order, the first thing is that means that business has begun. Now you go further, you tell the chief of clerk or the clerk of the place to call the roll. When they call the roll, you find out how many people are there. If they do not meet a quorum, then there is no quorum. But for not forgetting that once people have entered that place, it is a public office, and you should be able, guided by you people, you should have had a time. Sometimes you need what we call maybe workshops or seminars for some of the legislative reporters. You go back to the drawing table. Since you became speaker, have you had a real time to sit down and talk with the journalists? If it is not only to tell them what you want them to hear, or to tell them how you can guide them in their work. We know we have a legislative director there for the media, but he should also know that there should be an official accreditation. This is a country. This is not a club. This is not an association or organization. It's a country. So when we send you people there, just make sure that the journalists who are coming to cover are also accredited. Then every media institution, before they go to cover your place, they should be accredited. And during the process of accreditation, you should be able to brief them. Even all the rules that you are talking verbally like that today shouldn't be something. It should be something that should be written down. And when the journalist reads, you make sure after his registration, you give it to him to read, and he signs it to tell you that he will abide by the rules. But you don't have any rule that say that when the journalists spoil the rule, when the journalists do this, you're going to jail him. So it's the jailing or the imprisonment the only way you can do for people to be afraid of you, Speaker Kun. Don't let people be afraid of you. You have been paid by the people's money, because this weakens democracy. We're trying to build a democracy in our country. We went to war for several years. We came back. We have built it. This is the third president or the third government that is running, or the fourth one, even though one ran twice with the same leadership. But it's the third leadership in our country since the war. We have to start unfolding things rather than getting used to doing the same thing over and over and over, or else we'll all be looking like chickens without head. Have you had some time to even say, well, you journalists should be doing this, you should be doing that, and this, and try to guide them in doing their work? Knowing very well that after the war, we have several journalists that are coming. Set up, that's the first branch of government. You try to set up something that we can do something straight. Because you have made, under your leadership, the House is becoming so ungovernable that sometimes we see legislators standing there and roaring at one another or roaring at each other, using several bad languages there, because we expect, if you come here to the United States or wherever, because I know you guys used to come to I still remember Ndoblo Simbi, your house clerk, they all came here to Congress, and they were studying legislative activities. Okay. And in that group, they all came. I did not see the head of journalists, the head of the media coming with that group, because they should all come and be able to learn what the rules should be, what should be universal rules and acceptable rules. Okay. Because here it is sometimes said, people, when you go there, you are still allowing people to be recording official things with their cell phones. Yes, this is the day. So you should be able to accredit even the equipment that they use. You see, because journalists cannot, in some places, you cannot use your own equipment, your private equipment. Okay? Your institution should be able to provide the camera, the tape recorder, and other things. That means whatever you are doing there supposed to be for the institution. Okay. Now, when we come to official coverage, why are you feeling that people are talking? You should have a special press gallery, and that is where the press can remain as soon as you start. But the journalists are all between you people while you are in session. You are doing a thing like you're running your house.
In fact, some of the lawmakers have their own personal journalists that they take to session to media focus on them when they trying to create some scene. So meaning, there's no proper governance in terms of how the activities are covered in the House of Representatives.
Yes, because there is no specific place. When they established the House of Legislation, did they establish a particular portion? Because let's imagine when we go to the White House here. At the White House, they have a press gallery. In that press gallery, when the president has a meeting with a guest, the journalists are not there. The journalists go from the beginning. They go, they take pictures, and they agree to maybe introductory or orientation speeches. They leave and go back to the press gallery. After the whole thing, it is the press secretary that comes along to address the journalists on what happens. Okay, but then at our legislature, you are there. The journalists are everywhere. You don't want the journalists to carry issues about two legislators fighting in the hall. You don't want them to see them. But then the journalists are there. When it goes out, even we're all running everything on social media. Certain legislators have their own pages. They speak there, what they want to say. And I know many of them are still blasted by opposition. When they come out to say something, people are attacking them on the social media. And some of them, because of their petty minds, they take it against those people that you don't like them or you don't like the government media. Not liking what Senator Kuhn or Representative Speaker Kuhn does doesn't mean that I hate the government. We have to draw a line of demarcation, because the behavior of some of the legislators sometimes becomes very, very uncompromising. And in such instances, people do respond to them the way they do their thing. And this does not mean that you don't like the government. you don't help the government. Because this is how they are presenting to everybody. They tell you that this to government is this. Many of them, they are not talking for their constituencies. They are talking for the government. You know, many of them there. Not one day you will hear a speech. They tell you my constituency, my constituency. We do listen to them daily. They don't even talk about their constituency. And the whole Liberia has just gone, and nobody wants to
Let me
care
say
for the whole Liberia has just gone, and nobody wants to care for the constituency.
let me say good evening and welcome to the program.
Good evening. Let me say good evening to your co-host and good evening to your many listening audience. It's a pleasure being here with you people tonight.
Welcome to the program, and we on the situation there at the Capitol building, most precisely at the House of Representative. You know, the recent statement on to journalists from the House Speaker Richie Nangbekon. So Mr. Abu was already in speech when you join us. Mr. Abu, you can go ahead.
What do you have to, what do you say about what Speaker Kun said today?
So the thing is, I just did a post condemning the act of the speaker. You know, everywhere the journalist or journalists should have freedom. We shouldn't be intimidated, regardless of who the person is or how they feel, how powerful they are. Journalists shouldn't be intimidated. Remember the chambers, especially at the House of Representatives, before a journalist can enter the main chambers, the doorman, who is referred to as the sergeant at arms, receives signal from the speaker that yes, we are ready to receive journalists. That means we are ready for business, we are ready to discuss the Liberian people business. Then the doorman will give authority to journalists to enter the main chamber. So today his statement was very harsh, and we are calling on him to immediately retract said statement because we see it as an intimidation on journalists that are reporting at the House of Representatives. Over there, once you enter there as a lawmaker, there's no secret. Everything it does down there, it represents the Liberian people. So the journalists have a right at that particular moment to record every activities that they feel the Liberian people need to absorb as an information. That's the reason you have executive. At times, there can be motion for executive. The speaker suspend all other activities and then they go into executive where there will be no journalists and nobody will record said activities. So for him coming out in an open manner, intimidating journalists that if he catch journalists recording their activities in the chambers, not outside the chambers, but in the chambers where you invite them, you invite reporters to give live broadcast. I think the speaker is going out of hand. I don't want to say that will be too harsh, but going against journalists now, I think he need to reason and retract his statement and make sure that henceforth all reporters are protected under the Gabo. Because now he's a speaker. He have upper. I remember during the impasse of the legislature, I was intimidated as a reporter. I'll call in one lay room with one representative called James Colette, shot at me, shot to me, and made all sorts of remarks at my person. Only my institution talk about it, PR didn't talk about it. So now the speaker, who is a third man in command in the entire country, can sit on a public space and intimidate journalists is so worrisome. And I think PR should speak about it. I saw the statement from legislature as bluff. I think it's biased, and I look at it as the leadership is being in the pocket of the legislature, especially the speaker angle, because as a watchdog or another eye of the PR or the press, who represent the legislative reporters coming up with a very weak statement against intimidation of reporters at that particular place. I think they didn't do well. They didn't do more or McGill. McGill, you cover at time I guess you cover the representative. You see how journalists struggle to provide information. They barely get a better space. So, but then you crawl on their knees, their belly, just to provide information for the public. Then you speak already kind of intimidating them. I think that is wrong. That's my position so far.
Do they have any press gallery there? I mean, a particular place that you guys will have to sit and monitor the legislative business? That's for you, son.
For the Senate, there is a press gallery for the Senate where you have people of radio and newspaper sit and observe the session. But for the legislature, no. You have to see reporters on their knees at the front decks of where the chief clerk and other people sit to read the statement for that day or the agenda for that particular session day. So you see, to go through a lot, they suffer, on their knees, on their belly, just to bring out information to the public. So you don't expect Speaker Coon, who is new as the regime speaker, to intimidate reporters. You are the regime speaker, you have power more than everybody. So you come out publicly in intimidating journalists, and it brings out fear for press freedom in our country. It shows that we as a journalists are no longer protected by the government of which we are honored and serving. So I don't see it necessary,
Okay, you don't see it necessary. I would, from my part, I would say that, well, Speaker Coon is maybe trying to bring some sanity to maybe how things go on in the legislature. But at the same time, we can say you can't eat your cake and have it. He has not provided, has Speaker Coon, since he came, has he had any briefing with you people as to how you people are supposed to behave in terms of recording, using your electronic devices and taking notes and other things? Has he had any meeting with you people?
Chief, let me say this. Speaker Coon did not just rose from his first year as representative and become speaker. No. Reggie Coon is like a doyen in the House of Representatives. At least about 6 to 9 years now, he's been serving the people of District 11, also in that house. So he's been observing from times in numbers how journalists carry on their reportage in the House of Representatives. Now he rose as speaker. There have been several briefings. In fact, under his leadership, when he became speaker, there were some issues between leadership of Latest Pool and then they solved it. They have election and they came to one common ground. Leadership is in there. So I guess the speaker have been meeting with them. They've been talking. They've been having different kind of discussion. And that has been a normal routine of journalists. Like I said to you, before a reporter entered the chamber, the doorman, who is the sergeant at arms, will give signal to the speaker or receive signal from the speaker that hey, sergeant at arms, now allow the journalists in. It is time now that they come in and record the session. And the journalist will stay on line with their identity. For him, he is bringing sanity to the legislature. Under his leadership, we were able to find reporter tag to be identified while covering the House of Representatives. So yes, but for him to come so harsh on reporters at this time, I don't see, I think it's bad. And
do they have they, when you guys go to do the reporting at the initial stage, have they presented you the rules that govern coverage of the legislature? Do they have any rules that
definitely when you subscribe to the House of Representatives, the press attaché will call you for a briefing. They will talk to you. They will give you the guideline. This is what you have to do. This is what you wear. This is how you dress. This is how you compose yourself whenever you come for a session. So definitely it is written, and the press attaché gave these necessary documents to reporters whenever they have subscribed to report for the House of Representatives.
Well, I'm just saying that if Speaker Kuhn is bringing, his tone itself was very intimidating and threatening to journalists. That was not a very good tone. Telling them that you will be put to jail. If I don't do this, then you must change my name. The kind of common language he's using that you're supposed to be, those are fireside language. I will change my name. You know, you don't use the fireside languages in the House of Legislature. That's the first branch of government. And when you start doing that, you tend to be weakening democracy, because we are going through a new democratic thing. You say private conversations in offices. There is not, when you enter that place now, I think if you want to have a private conversation, there should be a little private rooms that they can go that are attached there, that a representative from district number 10 wants to talk to the representative from district number 0, they can decide, say, to just go in there and discuss before they come out and present anything. But if you are going to have a journalist among you, there is no way you're going to tell me I'm going to close my ears so that I cannot eavesdrop what you're saying, because whatever you're going to say, I'm going to be hearing it. And once it is said in the official manner, once you have not given me a disclaimer to say that this is off record, because if you say if it is off record, I'll respect myself and respect what you said. I'm not going to publish it. No, I'm not going to have the people to hear about it. It only remains to me as something we refer to in journalism as privileged information. You know, I have it, but I cannot use it as an official statement. But now, if you are allowing the journalist to come to record you while you are speaking as a speaker, and then you are telling her that only happens after there is a quorum. Now, what happens when there is no quorum, and then you want to dismiss the session for the day? And while you are dismissing the session, other legislators who came, they are feeling discontented, and they do want to, let's say, discuss some of the feelings they had. They want to talk about what they wanted to discuss for the particular topic or what was going to be discussed for the day. Once they didn't get it, it becomes a problem. Now, if I'm standing there as a journalist, I'm going to know that Mr. Brown or Representative Brown is not ready, or Representative Nadia is not quite happy with the way the session was postponed or the session was dismissed, you know. And even after,
I think
are you getting me? Okay. Even after the session, are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Even after the session disperses. The representatives, they are all human beings. They move about talking things. They try to share ideas. Oh, I wanted to talk about this. And the journalists are all between you people. In civilized countries, in other countries that we may think that they have provided the means for it, some of that $1.2 billion should be the one they're using for that legislature. Some of it should be used to establish a place that we call a press gallery for the House of Representatives, where the journalists can be when you call them in when you want to talk to them. When a representative feels that he has a particular issue to discuss with a journalist, in terms of what you do, you tell the director of press that, yes, I want to talk on this issue, and he brings in the journalist into your private office or into your office, and you talk about it. Because there should be a journalist gallery, a press gallery. When Kuhn wants to talk all of this thing, intimidating people, he should ensure that there is a gallery already for the people, so they're not going to be hearing, they will not be eavesdropping what you say. Many of the journalists, you guys go there in the morning. I know there are some privileged information you hear. There are some which is not based on eavesdropping, because you are in the corners, you hear what the people are saying, and sometimes the legislators go there. Why is it that it is only at the time that they are discussing the budget here that Kuhn wants people to get out and don't want the journalists to report? You know, that's my own qualm. Only when they are talking about the budget.
I think because this budget having a lot of, you know, backfires coming in from opposition, and is a projected budget that, you know, most of what they think the government is going to generate from people or companies like ArcelorMittal are things that are seen to be very impossible because of the fireback they've had with the agreement with ArcelorMittal signing that agreement. It been twice that that agreement has been rejected by the company, and again, you know, there's a lot of different concerns and different stories coming out in news outlet. I think is one reason that drew the attention of the speaker. He feels like most of the journalists that report for the national legislature are against reporting in their interests and you know, sweet stories. So is something that he's gonna say that will frighten journalists that report from the national legislature to be able to write so sweet story for the lawmakers as they go about, you know, this budget hearing. But one major thing that will also always, you know, raise concern about is the fact that he said we're not talking serious thing here. We not get quorum. When we get quorum, you know, why will you talk about national budget in the national legislature and you say it's not as serious as we should take it to be? And you don't want journalists to report about these things you are saying until you can have a quorum. How do journalists know that you are having a quorum? Since you're not having a quorum, do not discuss the budget.
Speaker Cohn may not be very serious on that, because why would they say we are not talking serious thing? And that same legislature that is coming in there, he said he came to session, but then there was no session. He going home. If he's arrested, he said he has an immunity against arrest, but then he didn't come to do anything for the state. He didn't come to do anything for the country. Then you still say that we are not ready for serious thing. When do we get ready for serious thing? The mayor has dressed from his house. He has come. He used government vehicle. We bought the government bought gas for him. The people's taxpayer bought gas for him. The people's taxpayer he rode a car. They brought him to the house. People who serving him, they are all paid by the people. Then he tells us they are not doing something serious. What is serious? What is serious? Speaker Cohn, you must be acting crazy, you know. That's been crazy. Because if you're looking at journalists, you start to intimidate them. The first thing you have to do is to caution them. Your tone today was not a cautioning tone, you know.
So
after the program, I don't care. I don't care. He's not working for himself. He's working on your taxpayers. It's what the people pay. It's this thing that will try to immune people from many things. If people can stand in the street and be insulting our president, Joseph Boakai,
the question you do, you can't intimidate you do.
Let him try it. Let him try it. We'll meet in the streets we'll meet on Broad Street. Okay? If he thinks that people stand in the street and be insulting our president, okay, nothing is doing. The president doesn't hold the people in containment, all the kind of thing. Why is he thinking that the legislation must be a place that he must use to get at his at people that he doesn't like? You know, what has the journalist done? You know, they are all parts of it. You are the first branch of government. That's the fourth estate. Work along with them, because there's no way your work is going to be done well if these people are not going to tell your constituents. Because many of you are there, you don't even talk about your constituents. You know, you don't talk about your constituency. You tell this budget, they're talking about that budget there. Let me hear one legislature that is going to tell me I need a bridge that coming from this town to this town, because people are commuting between those towns. We have a population of 10,000 here and 10,000 on this side, and they need to cross that bridge every day, and we need to make a way for them, because the government is there to facilitate people's movement and people's services. They facilitate things for them, because you have the police to make sure that my rights are protected. Okay, you create an enabling environment for me to get a job. You create schools so that I can get educated. That's what the government is supposed to do, to create an enabling environment to facilitate. Okay, you want the journalists to report and you don't want to facilitate them. Tell them, gentlemen of the press, please, this is not a recording session. Because it looks like the only language they know in that place, they say, let's When they find when all of them feel that they want to talk about money that they want to steal, you know, or money that they don't want people to know about, then they say, can we go into executive session? Okay, but the legislation must be beyond the executive session. In the legislature, there should be something we call classified information. Classified information. It only goes to certain people. And all of them in that place, they do have chat rooms. They do have chat rooms. The different caucuses there have the different chat rooms. Why can't they operate from the different chat rooms? You know, when you come into the public, let everything you discuss there be something of public matter. If you do not want the legislative reporters to record certain things, please cut off all your gadgets. Once you put that one on, we know that the legislature is a place of law. Cut off all your gadgets, no reporting. And that particular rule must be not only for the journalists, it must also be for your fellow colleagues or for your colleagues who are also representatives, because most of them have their little gadgets that they keep recording one another in that place, and they pass it over to the journalists. Some of them are passing it over to social media. So, Representative Speaker Coon, please don't flex your muscles on our journalists. Try to flex your muscles on your colleagues who are there. They are your equal partners, and let's see how strong you are. You became strong with a majority bloc and later became speaker. We know you are the strong man, but please don't bring it down to the journalists. Leave them alone. If anything you don't want it to do, tell them in a tune that they will understand. Tell them in a tune that you people can come to a single thing. You are the first branch of government. They are the fourth estate. You got to know what to do. Talk to the people, Speaker Coon. Because this whole thing is becoming a controversy now between you and the journalists. Now, what position are you putting the director of press at the House of Representatives? Okay, you are putting him in a very precarious situation that he will not be able to discuss with his friends. Now, you as the president, the head of the House, it's your business to come in. When we are doing this, we don't want no recording. No recorder should be used here. No photographing. No this. Come up with those rules, and you make sure you have a session that you tell them it. They are not your antagonists. None of those journalists are going to contest in your constituency. They are not going to contest there. You are the head.
I think Speaker Coon is still battling the countryman, you know. Countryman is battling seriously in his district, so that angle of their developmental fight has gone to the national legislature, and there's no better way to angle his aggression. So it goes down to journalists that have started to report on the national budget, the draft national budget of 2026, and I think this should be something that the president of Liberia should take into serious consideration, and should call her Speaker Reggie Nankwe Coon to order. This is not something that means well for our society, especially where we have press freedom. We should have our people being able to have information disseminated properly, and in as much as if you are having information that you don't want the public to be able to have at an appropriate time, you should have some measures put in place so that these guys cannot have those information. So if you are to allow journalists enter a draft budget hearing, which of course has been going on for a length of time, you shouldn't start to threat journalists that are currently, reporting on situations that are unfolding at the national legislature. So I think the speaker was wrong and not in the right position to say such a thing. And I think the Liberian media journalists that report at the national legislature deserve some apologies from the speaker and elect Representative Yeke Kolba usually say, I take it back. He needs to take that statement back.
I think that's the right thing you said. You take it back. Doesn't mean you are apologizing, but maybe it was said it was outrageously presented that he should understand that I know he wants to start practicing universally accepted norms in the legislature where recordings, using your recordings must be something that you should be allowed to do, in as much as eavesdropping is not also allowed. But they should also create an environment, have private rooms. How that if legislators want to talk, they can go to the private rooms. As long as you go in there and say the journalists must be in there, they are going to hear. And many of their gadgets are already standing by. If you want them to you don't want them to record or to use their gadgets to have these things recorded, just tell them directly. That's where I stand today. And sometimes my attention is also to why does he have to come with this only when they are they are discussing the budget? No, not why do you make the budget look different? I mean, the budget you are discussing is just for people to say that this is for this, this is for this, this is for this. And whether we agree to it or not, you are still going to pass it. We are still going to pass it, whether we agree or not. The journalists are there, allow them, because you people don't give them the information. You say they must search for the information. Now, when I'm searching my information, some of the information are hidden. And the only way sometimes I get it is by eavesdropping. It's by listening to people. And our legislators, they're more considerate. They're more considerate. They talk everything. Some of the information are hidden. And the only way sometimes I get it, the legislators are talking to one another. They are talking to one another. Allow them. If you go, you can also have in your rules and order of the House what can be discussed in the hallway and what cannot be discussed. If you're not discussing these things, you should be very careful. Don't run behind the journalists because you think you can threaten them with contempt, and they get scared to go to court. I do agree, gentlemen, that you say that the press union should come in, but this is not something that the press union should really take very serious. I said the press union doesn't have any other work to do. Then they come and say they're engaging. But Speaker Coon, we are sufficiently treated. He understands that he was saying the right thing, but the tone he used, why was he upset? Somebody made him vex from whom today or from his office? Why? You have been doing the same thing.
The contraband giving Speaker Coon a lot of problem in his district. So do you have anything to say? Because we want to jump.
We want to go to the next one.
Well, the thing is, I don't want to believe that dealing with the issue of the budget. I think there have been several controversial news articles from Front Page Africa, the New Dawn, and several news outlets talking about the ArcelorMittal crack deal on the budget. I don't want to believe that the speaker is looking at that controversial story coming up on the budget to have journalists being intimidated. And if it is that way, then I think he is marching in the wrong order, or I think he has been afraid of certain issues. Let me say this. Journalists go up Capitol Building to capture news, especially news that would take the headline. The moment a reporter entered that chambers, his first intention or goal is that he should capture one of the bigger news that will run on his platform for the day. So once the speaker gives him a go ahead to enter the chamber, definitely anything that is happening within that chamber that I think can capture the mind of Liberians at that particular moment that will make the news and take the headline, I think they have to blow it up quickly. So I don't want to believe that the speaker is afraid that during the budget hearing, journalists will take controversial story. But I want to believe that the speaker is protecting certain elements or some of their corrupt deal, some of their, I don't know how to even tell it, these lawmakers are our problems. Like, their own colleagues in District 10 representative voice on over here, while Columbia will always say the lawmakers are the problem of Liberians. They are the major problem of us. So I think Speaker Kun need to find different way and dialogue with journalists. To trust me, you can't just generally say don't do this, don't give the news, don't no. I think you'll be having them biased and tied around certain issue. They should cross beyond all borders. They shouldn't be having like one side or because we're reporting for a legislature, so we should make everything sweet. When the speaker say and letting here a bad material to good. No. The public will see journalists are biased and ugly sort of people now. They will say, oh, you're good down there to work, but instead your work you're doing now, you're working in favor of the people. If the people go against the Liberian people, they can't report the story anymore. No. I think you should give journalists a fair chance to report the actual story and be very honest with the Liberian people.
Yes,
That's
I do agree with that, but to a certain extent, you do not work for the House of Legislature. You work for your media institution, and you, as a journalist, it becomes a priority to report the news, not your opinion. You can analyze the news and give as it is. Even the budget they're talking about, let's talk so. The budget they're talking about, the journalists, I think it is on the it is on the Ministry of Finance website that people can have access to. You don't have to take the entire budget. You take it piece by piece and report on it. You analyze it, you do some summary and analyze it. Kun is kind of upset because he wants to intimidate you guys so you can get scared about certain things, But once you know you are doing the right thing, do not be afraid. He's not expecting you people to do everything in his favor because he knows that even in his own house, it's only in his house that he's the king. But when he gets out of his house, he's not a king for anybody. He's equally being contested on issues that are trending about national, about his constituency, about wherever he works, wherever he has been. He will always have people to contend against him. So for this, it's like he's saying the journalists, let's accept this in good faith and see what's going to happen tomorrow. He has already received a lot of backing today because coming out to be backing like one wild dog doesn't really help Speaker Kun. It doesn't help him. Let him do what he's supposed to be doing. Tell the journalists what you don't want him to do. Because when they tell you what they don't want you to do, it's by crafting the rules. That when you can't, you read the rules. If you stand by the rules, you stay as a legislative reporter. You don't stand by the rules, you decide to withdraw, you decide to go. Because everywhere you go, there must be rules. It's because that they have not been able to craft rules and tell you about these rules. That's why today this thing that happened, he himself, he doesn't know about it. He just decided to be ramping like one old dog in the street. You don't do that, Mr. Speaker. Respect the journalists. Have your time, talk to them, even your kids at home. There are certain things you should discuss with them. If you're coming to do something, you should call them and tell them, well, effective this date, this is not going to happen, this is not going to happen. And once you are able to justify that according to universal acceptance of rules, some of you can take your time to read some things about other legislatures in other countries. Let's see how the press behave in that place. But we have gone up the balance. We're doing everything. The war is over. We can go back. We're not afraid of legislators. We're not afraid. We just respect them for who they are and for the job they do. If they don't do the job well, it is our right to report that you are not doing your work well. There are many things that are happening, but when we make it look like even the reporters, they are assigning themselves to certain legislators, and it's not supposed to be like that. Then when this thing happen, we say the press union will come in. Some reporters, we put them in the House of Legislature, we assign you there. To get you out there, we got to go look for Jatro to move you from there. Some people, they go to work, we tell them, you no longer assigned to the legislature. They will touch you and still go there. I'm talking as an old editor, you know.
But our country, I don't want to blame reporters, but I think media houses, managers should also be blamed.
Yes.
At time of recent, at the Ministry of Information, issue raised up, journalists get so angry and wrote against the ministry. Each time they cover the information ministry, at the end of the day, a little over 500 or 600 will be given as transportation. So this time around, I don't know what happened. Unfortunately, he didn't receive his own share. He got angry and took to social media. And then I blasted at him. I said, no, you can't do this. You are embarrassing the profession. Your entity should be responsible for your transportation.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Bayo. I'll have another time that we'll talk about how journalists are behaving in Monrovia. Let's leave that one today. Yeah, let's go to the next issue. Yeah, you stay. You stay. Let's hear what happened. Let's hear what happened with the LGA. Let's see the video. The 1 or 2 videos here you got with the LGA. The videos that you had for the LGA.
There are several things happening in the LGA.
No, the one today. The one today. The one with yesterday. The one with the guy from the house from the vice president's office.
That's Clifford Payne.
Yeah, Clifford Payne. Because what we understand there is that, the main story came. We saw the row. They dumped him. They lifted him and dumped him into the car. Whether they were treating him as a criminal or not, LGA must be very careful how they do these things. If you even have to arrest somebody, you didn't arrest him with drugs. And if you even arrested him, he didn't put a resistance. The way you move at him, he's a man. He works at the office of the vice president. Why would you want to rough him? Is he a criminal? No. It's very low.
That was arrested for drug. He said he's from the office of the vice president. He said he's from the office of the vice president, and he keeps to bribe the LTA agents here. And so the LTA, the tension continued to build here because, he's claiming that the LTA ate the money. You have his ID card. So, from what we are told, he's from the office of the vice president. And he came to talk to the DA to release. This is his ID card. 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 And so we are told he's from the office of the vice president, who actually came to talk to the DA. Hey, guy!
There you go again. There you go again. The LGA officers behave like rebels. They talk above everything. That is a civilian. I don't think from the video, I didn't see him assault or strike at any of the officers. Why all this screaming? Handcuff the man, hold the man, put the man in the car. What are all these for? Tell the man exactly what you want to do. Because most of the atrocities that have been caused are caused by the officers themselves. They are not behaving gentle. The story that we're hearing that he went to release somebody who was arrested with drugs, and the drugs confiscated a certain amount, maybe $120,000 or above. Yes, we do agree. But then, if the story we are hearing after this incident, we heard his lawyer talk that that this man is a clean man. Okay, he's a man of integrity. And after that, there was another person, I think the vice president's office, and now the LDA director himself came out and said, no, they did not catch the man with drugs. Now, where is the story? The story goes that someone he is related to or he's associated with was the one who was arrested for being in possession of drugs, and the drugs were confiscated in the possession of the LDA. This young man has a relative who he says is his aunt, who went to him. I mean, they all went to the place. They say the aunt has gone there earlier, according to what they are saying, and gave some money to the LDA staff that was there, appealing to them to release him. I wouldn't call it a bribe because I'm not sure whether that's what she did. But according to them, she gave some money to them. Now, the thing happened on Friday. And on Friday, the mother went there and paid the money. They were supposed to release him, or they agreed to release him. But because of the controversy surrounding drug arrest and the laws that protect or that are supposed to take action when somebody is arrested for being in possession or trafficking drugs, they know that they cannot easily release him. So what did they do? They ate the money because it was beyond their control. Monday morning, the man is supposed to have been presented to the court. Why can't the man court? This brother comes there and using his authority, or maybe thinking that using his influence, that he's from the vice president's office. But I thought you guys say you are going to release the man, you accepted the money. Since you are not releasing it, then you'll bring the money back. You'll bring my money back. That's one side of the story. Another side of the story, which was a deep inside, was that the same man went along with his aunt, and he was present. What I understand from inside sources, that he was the one who even presented the money to the officer for his relative to be released. Then we come in. You are an official in the government working in the second highest office. Why will you be responsible for bribing somebody or attempting to bribe someone? That should be his own charge. But let me finish. But because they did not have any evidence, because they would call the officer in the corner and give him the money. He and his aunt, because I know his aunt would have been the one to give the money, because he be man in government, so they gave him the money, so he went, they received it. When the issue rose yesterday, the officer then said, no, you did not give us any money. So that's where the row started. And he was very sure that he gave somebody there that he could identify, he gave them the money. But because it became a big issue, the officer said, you didn't give us money. So this is why even when the LDA director comes in to do his press conference, made a press statement, they didn't say they were arresting him or that they would charge him for either attempting to bribe, but they say they were charging him for obstruction. Obstruction, that's just a misdemeanor. He didn't stop the men that they were carrying to jail. He didn't stop them because they were carrying the men to court. He didn't stop them. He just raised his voice at them. But then, if you're carrying the man, you bring my money. So all the officers fighting to maintain, I don't know whether LDA has integrity or not, fighting to maintain their name, and they don't want, because LGA, like the boss there, he doesn't like for LGA name to be in the press or in the media, in the public. So all of them came in, they just started rallying. Arrest the man, handcuff the man. Why did he do that to have him handcuffed? What did he do? The man was right at the headquarters. Okay, if the man did obstruction, why can't you call the police to charge him? Because LGA that not your business with obstruction. The man did not obstruct. You carry the man to court. So let's look at this thing. William, what you heard about it? I'm just telling you what I heard in my own thing.
Yeah, basically,
we can stay here and do our own investigation.
Yeah, basically, all what you say is truth, and after these different reports came in, it was all linked to, the vice president office and how their government vowed to fight drugs, especially when the campaign period was moving on, and it was something that the office of the vice president was swift enough to come on and make an official statement talking about how he's against even his immediate family members, any of them involved into drug. And I think with all of the clips I've seen, I think the DA was not professional enough. And this is something, even me, I've had several different, situations of such with different security personnel, different security entities, especially for the police and the LDA. I will say this for free, that they are not professional in terms of carrying on their duties. And you cannot treat a citizen like, they are a slave, or, someone who have committed, even if they commit a very bad crime, you still have to give them, they still have some right. And these guys need more training. They need more training. The DA and the police is two areas, security area in government, that we know to be very corrupt in terms of how they go about carrying on their activities, especially for the DA. It was of recent that, few citizens can be able to count on them a little. But if I'll grade that, I would say 0.05% that they can count on the DA. DA has been one area that everybody knows that these people are very corrupt, and they are not professional. So if such a report coming out on how they receive bribe, but instead they choose to take this individual to court, and if it is proven, it won't be something strange to the public, because most of these guys in the DA goes to the DA with the intention of enriching themselves, because it's area that they have huge quantity of drugs coming into the country, and they use those opportunities to extract monies from people who have been caught in the act, and they take these monies and enjoy themselves, give themselves better lives. So it's one key area in government that needs serious attention, serious focus, so that we can have, a system that will be able to checkmate these people properly, and we raise and give some accountability and restore confidence into the public that the DA can be trusted to handle drugs related activities. And the biggest thing that puzzles me in this whole case is the fact that they've even collected a sum of money to release this individual and choose not to take into court and started having some fireback. And I think the DA should also be able to file an investigation to be able to know if this claim is true and who are those are involved, so we can also have them removed from the DA, and the public should be informed about such thing.
Yeah, that's very good.
Wait.
Bayo, what do you say about that?
That security issue, I don't like to be too much into the security aspect because security personnel have different way of responding to scene at a certain moment. But again, I want to disagree with Will if you see the police are not trained or they are not conducting themselves in the way and manner.
Most of them are not professional, is what I said. Most of them are not professional, sir.
Even though the previous administration had their own style of policing, and this administration have their own style of policing as well under the Inspector General Gregory Coleman and his able deputies and lieutenants. Well, but I want to say the police are moving ahead gradually in terms of engaging with the citizens, and I'm sure the environment is getting more friendly than before. Even though our country is highly political, that the politicians at times put the police or the citizens against the police. Now let's talk about this whole LDA saga in Seaport Bridge. I want to frown at the LDA commander on his press coverage today. He didn't do well. The thing is, the war on drugs, or against drugs, should be very fair, regardless of your status or your connections that you have with any big person or your proximity that you have around government officials or whosoever. If we are fighting drugs, it should be fair and holistic on everybody. The issue of bribery, obstruction, these are all relationship to step back the fight of drugs. So if you are involved, the law should deal with you to its course. There should be no level of intimidation or fear or favor of anybody, regardless of where you work, who you connected with, what proximity you have in the government. So if it is all alleged that Mr. Clifford has a connection with individual that were arrested for a huge amount of drugs that worth $122,000 United States dollars in Seaport Bridge. And yes, he admitted that his auntie, who is I think the mother to that particular person, allegedly bribed the LDA commander, which the LDA commander is also on tape admitting to the fact that yes, this particular woman went to my office on Friday and told her that he wanted to free her son, blah, 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 and gave her certain amount. But then we told her that no, it's not possible. That was the commander voice. I know the commander. I remember once we have confrontation, he had a raid in Slippery community where he didn't bring search warrant, enter the person's house, check out the place, and an unspecified amount was taken away. And when I get on the scene, we resolve it and the money was returned. He's a very professional person. I trust his ability in working. I know what he can do. He was in West Point, and I think they were reshuffle him. Either he was sent to Newtown, and the lady that at Newtown was sent to West Point. So, with these allegations, I believe that the LDA commander should have said to the press today that yes, our officer were caught in bravery. Great. And this is also action we are taking against him. And the lady who attempt bravery is now under the custody of LDA and will be charged for the court because there's no lie. Clifford will not lie that my auntie did not give bravery. Clifford did admit the fact that yes, my auntie gave money to the LDA commander, which he agreed that come so time will have your cousin free. And Clifford worked by his time and mandate that on Saturday come to Suso play on carrying them probably we can maneuver our way on our way and maybe your cousin can escape. That could be a discussion. I'm not assuming that was it, but that could be a discussion. And Clifford went there, and there are several videos showing of Clifford and LDA having conversation. At first, Clifford went in a hidden area, hiding from camera, and he had a secret conversation with the LDA commander then on shift. After a few times, tension raised up. Then it shows that the LDA are trying to have something on their shoulder. They were trying to paint themselves very white and paint Clifford black. So I think also the Clifford man in question with where he worked in the office of the vice president. Actually, he doesn't work with the vice president, but he worked with the group of 77, where the second lady control. He is a deputy public relations officer with the group of 77. And the office of the second lady falls under the vice president. So with that, his scope of work directly shine on the second lady office. He have no dealing with the vice president. But identification card, when you present it anywhere, it have that power. Once they carry office of the vice president, they have that sole power. They can intimidate anybody. The LDA should also be having Clifford behind bar, not just for obstructing, but also attempt bravery as well. But because Clifford have that close proximity and power around the government official, he is outside today. That signifies that the war against drugs is not going anywhere in this country. It shows
I think
that
you stop right there. I think it will go somewhere. It will go somewhere. We are getting there. We are really getting there.
Let me just learn, because this could be an example. If the LDA is very serious about fighting drugs in the country, this is one of the biggest examples. It shows that tomorrow, if maybe a member of the executive got caught with high level of drugs, he was scot-free. Yes, of course, he was scot-free because his proximity and the power he have. There was let's leave the man, let's charge him for this and that, and let's let him go. Clifford and his auntie should bear the full weight of the law. They should be placed behind bar, not just for obstruction, but bravery. You know what I mean? To brave or LD officer for huge amount of drugs. I think the LDA need to try, not just launch investigation, but to be very fast, smooth it to the brand people, be very fair and transparent.
Okay, we do understand that. I think we are going to get there. But one thing they got to understand in LDA, I told you they are professional in hiding things. They behave like rebels every time they make a catch. Let's understand. Even the last time, William, I told you when they went to burn the drugs somewhere around Shuffling Way there. When I listened to the tape, the first time I heard the tape, I thought it was like a rebel base. They singing and dancing and doing it. They were very excited at doing this. And that's wrong. I mean,
no. That's a security routine. I'm often going to be on the security cycle. So, these are things is a normal, especially from the police, the AFL, the LD, the immigration. At that particular point, especially maybe you work over the years in part to do something big, officers get themselves in that zeal, they sing, raise praises on our bosses. These are normal things in security setup. But again, it shouldn't be on camera, but for us now, you know, everything.
When they capture that huge sum in Broadville, that's when we should have seen them rejoicing. We didn't see them rejoicing. When they go to burning, it's when at that time it's already in their possession. Why is there excitement about it? Okay, now they are here. They are arresting Clifford, and all they're doing is arrest the man, bring the man for, hold the man by the shirt, this and that. The man is well dressed. When there should be one officer and tell him, my brother, can I talk to you, please? And you talk something into his sense. You know, you're not on the field. The man has walked to your office. Talk to him like a gentleman. You know, when you do these things, you make people approachable to you. But if you start behaving in every way that they come in, you think you are coming to fight and other thing, you make people always be ready. And then, before I close in, I want to talk about these drugs. I live in the city of Philadelphia where we got almost about 1 million plus people or 2 million people plus. Very big city. They have this law. If they catch you with 2 joints of marijuana, because you are not the one, you are just the one who got it to smoke it, to use it. They catch you, they carry you, they take your ID card from you, they give you a ticket to pay $50. You go pay the $50. The ID card is taken, got all your particulars, your social security number, they take everything. They record it, they give it back to you and give it to you with your ticket. You go to pay this money. When you go to pay this money, you bring the receipt and show it back to them. Then they know you are off the hook. But when you don't pay the money and come, they keep it as a record. The day you make a mistake, even for traffic, they pull you over in the traffic. They look in the system that your name is there, that there was something you did. At that time, all the cases are put together now, and you'll be penalized for it. Why am I saying this in Liberia? In Liberia, we do not have the prison compound to jail everybody who is smoking or who is using kush and other things. Sometimes they go to raid. The main people who got the ghetto, they run away. And then the people who are there, either they were just there visiting or smoking a thing, then you catch and you carry them. Those people should be people who should just be given ticket and fine and they pay and they go home. But because they are just users, they are not the peddlers. Let's run after the peddlers. You know, the people, what about the person who brought it, who I don't know whether they arrested somebody in Broadway with a huge amount. We talk about it, they say they burn it. But where is the person? Are we following it up? Is the person in jail? Have the person gone to court? What happened? Okay, we don't want the cases.
Sir, you are following our case. How far?
2 individuals, two young guys were arrested. They are currently behind bar.
Yeah, being behind bar is one thing. They were charged? I do understand they were charged and put behind bar, but have they been persecuted? Okay,
No,
how long are they going to jail for?
You know, our tradition.
Because you follow these cases to the court, you know, because if we are not in the court to know that John Brown has been charged and put behind bar for 5 years for being in possession of this and this and that, people will not be hearing it. People will be afraid, because as soon as you catch the people, guess what the people do in the street? You know about it. Liberian people say, how long? Those people will just put those people back in the street.
Yeah, you know? Definitely.
So we have to start creating confidence in our system, in the judiciary system, in the law enforcement system. You know, that they arrested and you announced it. Now at the time they are persecuting her and sending her to jail, we don't hear about it. Then Liberian people say, don't matter, people, they're not serious. So we have to put some integrity into our system to go from the beginning straight to the end, because then people get afraid. But if you just say, you just go put a man on, we even know whether he's there. So when they even pull him out now, nobody know whether that man has come out. And we have to go after the people who are bringing the drugs into the country. Sometimes even the people that we catch at the border bringing the drugs, they are not the one they are just bringing it in. They are not the owners, or they are just bringing it to come and deliver to someone in Monrovia or in Liberia. They can't report. I think you heard the story about the lady from the airport at that time. The whole story when she said somebody gave it to her to give it to someone. So it means that there are big people who are behind it. Because sometimes some of the people who you see who they are catching with it, you look at their structure. Here's somebody they caught with 122,000 US dollars amount of this. When you look at him, he doesn't have the structure of somebody who owns 122,000. Boya, Amebayo, he would not look like somebody who owns $122,000 worth of item. Then he gets out of it. So it means that he is doing the business for somebody. That's where the investigation goes on, to go after him. Who gave it to you? Who owns it?
So Liberia doesn't have that kind of equipment to carry on certain investigation. Let me tell you something, Chief. Most of these drugs bursts that happen in our country are done by intelligence or disagreement. Let me say so, disagreements. So for example, Will and myself is in business, and we have been into the business for close to 15 or 20 years. And Will is eating more than I do. Every time we go for the business, we come to the country, we sell. If the share point should be 50-50, we will give him 20 and take very huge, And I so feel that way. I'm tired. So tomorrow morning I have this close ally in the LDA. We already set up our sale coming in, our equipment coming in. And I go to the LDA office, I say, go to this place at social time, check the vehicle. This is where it will be. Check social place in the vehicle. You'll find the drugs there. That's how the LDA get the information. But for LDA officer to sit by himself and look at this particular individual walking and having arrested and say, you, this is what on you and this is what on you. This is what no, not possible. There's no machine to test anybody. You go to the border today, you walk free. LDA will look at you in your eye. If you get strong heart, Marvin says, hey, my man, stop. If you ask this, you shut at him, you'll get a friend. You be intimidated. Everybody is a friend in the country. Even a little man can look at officer and say, hey, you, he get a friend. He think that particular man is saying, hey, you have a bigger hand that if you test him, they will come and relieve him of his position. So everybody is a friend. And the government need to prioritize bringing more technical and logistical support for the LDA before Liberia is a transit point. Let me say this: you have Guinea, we have Ivory Coast, we have Sierra Leone, and we have other easy route of country. So most of these drugs are coming here, not for Liberia. Probably just maybe 50% of it should be dropped in that country. Fair points. So people just come to 20% and the remaining go to Sierra Leone, Guinea, Ivory Coast, probably go to Togo, Ghana, to row. So the DA need to step out again, need to provide more logistics for the LDA. That's my point. And second, the judiciary. Let me say this: the LDA is working, but our court system is weak and they are weaker. Trust me, if the government can just stand strong, if we catch you a judge today, you are not entitled to a lawyer. We catch you today, take you to court and place it beyond bar. Nobody comes to plead for you. Trust me, things the issue of drug flow is, but the drug dealers have the best lawyer that you ever imagine. Or let me say again, a drug dealer have the best lawyer that you ever imagine.
Okay, they may have the best lawyers. They may have the best lawyers, but the LDA must be able to build a case. I just want to say this, my last one. I still want to say that just to close in, the Speaker Coon was very much loud today, that his voice was intimidating and it threatened the journalists. And I know he may not have wished to really clamp on them, but he just wanted to put something straight. And I also want to warn him that please try to let the journalists know what they can do and what they cannot do when they are in your house. Because let's call the legislature your own house. You got the control of it. You got it there. So please just tell them where they can talk, where they cannot talk. If somebody wants to have an interview with a legislator, let there be private rooms that they can go in. Because most of the time, when one person wants to start talking with one legislator, everybody bring a microphone and everybody interprets in a different way. So I think that Speaker Kuhn must reduce his voice. He must take back what he said to the journalists and maybe say that he did not mean to say to threaten you people, but he was just raising his voice maybe with some other thing. In America, people can kill people they can't. They say the man was crazy. That why he killing people, you know. So Speaker Kuhn may not have wished to say that, but he used a loud voice that would have threatened people. And another thing, the LDA, please, we don't have to politicize everything. Just because you wanted to look clean or to take they wanted to take the issue from them from being investigated. They made it look like the man come from the vice president office, and they make it look like it is the vice president who got here inside the vice president sent them. The vice president knew nothing about it. That man was trying to help his aunt. He was trying to help his aunt because she went to him thinking that he works in the vice president's office or he's associated with the vice president's office. That's why they went to him. He was also very stupid that he decided to front for his aunt when he should never have done. He should look at it. He should look at where he works. And to Liberians, certain places you work, at this dispensation we have in Liberia that people politicize things. Certain places you work, you got to be very careful with what you say and what you do and where you go, you know. So with that, I just want to say thank you, Will. Thank you, Bayo. You guys have been very nice. William, I think we had a poor start, but later I think we pick up. I think it was a great show.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abu Sa. Let's get your parting comment quickly. And yeah, before you come on side, yeah, we've been having technical problem. I gotta run this machine over and see how it goes. Let's go ahead, sir.
Thank you so much. Let me say thank you to our audience and thanks to Mr. Abu. The show is actually great, and I look forward to more of this. Every time we are on. And again, I just want to send this clear call to the OIC that he should speed up with this investigation and bring some fairness to the public discourse. Into the speaker, we are asking him to retract his statement and apologize to the many journalists that are in the House of Representatives to take fear from them. And thank you so much, William. Thank you to our audience again.
Thank you for coming on, sir. And quickly before I go out, I will clearly say this that our African borders are open wide to any crimes. And Sai myself was once on a tour to one of these counties when we identify ourselves. Just get identity that big. These people will allow you walk in with anything you have, and they don't care to check out. We identify ourselves as journalists, and we couldn't have gone through the regular process an ordinary person could have gone through. So I feel like those are some of the ways that these guys usually manage to bring in these kind of things in our country. Again, to the vice president, I think to the vice president office guy, I think Clifford, he was trying to use his power like we all usually does in this country. We use our power to get what we want, and it was one of his worst decisions he took ever. So thanks to all of our viewers, and thanks to Mr. Abu and my comrade. Thanks so much for coming on tonight, and hoping we'll be on here Thursday with another fascinating discussion on the program, the Roundtable. It's been a great presentation tonight. In as much as we had a lot of challenges, we do appreciate the conversation tonight.